Ivan Rasic.
Exactly, yes.
Ivan Rasic. Okay, here we go. Okay. Well, welcome to Law Hackers. Today we're joined by Ivan Rasic from LegalTrek. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me.
Can we just start off? LegalTrek, what does that do?
LegalTrek is a law practice management online platform, but we are focused more on the new law kind of players. This is the niche that we want to be in, as we see it as a very exciting area.
Yeah, and what does it actually do, the product itself?
The product basically covers and helps you manage your entire legal operations, so you can use it from the standpoint of end user, which would be a lawyer or a fee earner in his daily work. In addition to that, partners can gain valuable insights on how their business is performing by having, a full stat dashboard, so they can see where they're going and where they ought to go.
And you yourself, can we talk about your background? What were you doing before LegalTrek?
Yeah, so I'm a law and finance LLM. That's by my education. I was working in the law firms where I saw lots of waste before, so I wanted to do something to change that. In addition to that, I was working next to General Counsel in Philip Morris, and there I was actually commissioned to create a tool to enhance communication between the General Counsel and the outside counsels. I like that project much more than the follow-up traditional legal work, so that's how I decided, to do something about it.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that. What was the trigger to start LegalTrek?
Well, that was exactly, since that very project in the Philip Morris, I realized that I much more enjoy creating products, and I had the same experience in a legal team in Philip Morris, that there is lots of waste, lots of miscommunication, lots of things that used to be paper-based at the time. So this is not how you run a modern organization, and you should do something about it.
And when was that?
That was back in 2011, summer 2011, when I was just finishing off that project. And afterwards, I had 1 year finishing off my studies in Frankfurt in Germany, when I was also doing the kind of thinking of what should I do next, and then it popped up.
Yeah, and so is it 2012, 2013, you actually started customer development?
Right. So how it happened actually, in September 2012, I met my current co-founder and CTO, product manager Alex. He's very tech-savvy guy, more than 15 years in cutting-edge projects. So we just discussed. He told me his experience from his world, from his tech world. I was telling him my experience from the legal world, and he was surprised how much waste is there and how is it possible that the legal world still undertakes the operations the way it does, as opposed to the tech world, right? So it just started as like this conversation, over coffee, over beers, and then it evolved. In December 2012, we decided that we should have an idea, so let's do something about it. Let's test it first. So it started December 2012 with customer discovery.
And did you have a formal launch? When would you say actually launch the product?
We did not have like a full-fledged launch in terms of with the marketing and with the budget and anything. We have launched the very first version late 2013, when we basically dispersed it to our early adopters, and we have refined it since ever, with the help of their feedback. But we started commercializing early this year, and now it's basically the stage of spreading the product further into new markets.
Yeah, well, can you go into that a little bit more? Like where are you at, and how's it going? How's it been received?
Yeah, it's going great, because basically when you identify the problem from the ground up, basically, you see the problem, then you propose a solution, then you see if you can actually sell the solution before you start building. If you don't sell a solution, then you go back to the phase of discovering the true problem, right? Until you find it. So when you start ground up, then it goes great. It's then adaptability, the probability of adoption rises up, and you have an easier job as a salesman or a CEO to commercialize the product.
Yeah. Well, this space, it's like legal practice management software. There's quite a few people in that market. How do you see that market evolving globally and in a particular market you're looking at?
Right. So yes, you're right. There are some players in the market, of course, and they're some of them are even dating from a while ago. Certainly technology changed, but more importantly the habits of the working people changed, so of the attorneys as well. So the major trend in all the markets, horizontal wise, is the consumeration, which basically means that you enjoy working inside of the business apps, which are kind of, which are speaking to your ear as a consumer. So this kind of, you want to have something beautiful on your phone to work with. You want to feel good with something that you're working with, not just looking at some clunky old UX, broken product, etc. from a while ago. So this trend helps a lot, for many new entrants in even old categories in all the industries, and the same thing goes as well in the legal.
Yeah. And I guess you're a lawyer. You know this market quite well. But even despite that, have you learned any lessons? Setting up.
Yeah, I mean, you learn every day. I mean, this is why it's so exciting, to do this kind of work. I mean, the fact that I'm a lawyer doesn't mean that the product is based solely on my experience. We did a lot of customer discovery. We had lots of different attorneys from across the globe participating. The most valuable lesson is that even though you can feel that the workflow of attorneys is similar, which is true in a way, their habits, which are the extra layer, are very different, kind of the style of work. So you must cater for that if you want to reach a broader market. The way we chose to pursue that is to add extra customizability and the flexibility to the products. You can basically set it up the way you want for yourself, or we can do for you in terms of, if you just feed us back enough, of comments to base it on. So this is one of the lessons. The second lesson, which I would name, is that basically you should always listen to your customer base. So if something is not ticking, if something is confusing about your product or the positioning, you should definitely change it. As we did, for example, we changed the name recently. We used to be called the product CaseTrek, which was kind of implying that we are focused on litigators and the litigation, which it was not the case basically. So we are focused on the new law firms and on managing legal operations, and that's why we decided to change that.
Yeah. And just finally, talking about legal tech and legal startups in general, there's a lot going on. It's almost booming. Yeah. Do you have any favorites or standouts that you like?
Yeah, I mean, there's some guy I met at the Reinvent Law London last year, actually, Don Philbin, who started, I think the name was Picture It Settled. I'm not so sure about the stage right now, but basically that algorithm helps when you have a dispute and you want to settle. The old way of working was the two attorneys, going back and forth, different amounts. I've given you 100, you ask for me 1,000, etc. But now this algorithm basically identifies any overlapping areas and kind of the common points, and so you are empowered and you know what you are looking for when you enter a negotiation. So Picture It Settled definitely something which I remember from the last year.
Yeah. Ivan, thanks so much for your time and all the best with your journey.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hey, well done. That was awesome.
Thanks.
Natural.
Thanks.
Yeah. All right. That's a wrap.